Hello, everybody, and welcome to Monday Coffee Talk with your host, Hebro77, along with Sagittarically Speaking. And we are live here today. Good morning, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed that intro. And stop the music now from playing. We are here on this, what technically is still Monday morning. For everyone that's in my area and everyone that's in Texas, it's 10:37. But from your end, Sagittarically speaking, I believe it's 11:37. Still technically morning, though.
Technically, yes.
Well, we've got zero watching, but I'm sure there'll be people popping in soon enough.
Oh, yeah, they're probably still making their coffee.
Oh, yeah, sure. So I looked up the term prolific.
Uh-huh.
And prolific refers to plants, animals, or humans who produce fruit. Let's see. I've got it. Let me get it back up here. I got the definition term. I didn't even realize a plant, animal, or person producing much fruit or foliage or many offspring. So I definitely used it wrong earlier on.
I don't think you're the only one. I think that word gets misused a lot. I think it can also be used to mean abundance.
Yeah, it's present in large numbers of quantities. Plentiful, yeah. Like you said. So we're here to begin the day. I wanted to talk about real quick. Connie Joe Wood has a new video out, and she talks about her life after death experience, or her near death experience, I should say. Obviously, it's not a life after death experience, but she
Could
talks
be
about,
life after near-death experience.
well, yeah, that's true. That's true. But I just hope for everybody to check it out. I'll send the link in the chat as soon as we have people watching. There's still zero watching at this point in time, but check that out. She talks about it all started out with headaches, and it goes on to talk about how she went to see the eye doctor, and the eye doctor immediately told her to go to the neurologist. Am I saying that correctly?
Good enough for me.
Oh, okay. So, and I'm beginning to wonder, because every morning I wake up, I keep waking up with these headaches. They're not so much headaches, but the back of my head just hurts. And I'm wondering, it could be two or three different things. It could be me sleeping wrong, like I got a new pillow now, but it seemed like ever since like the last day, like when I was in the hospital, it hit like the back of my neck and went up into my head. I'm wondering if it either has something to do with the back of my neck, or hopefully I don't have a blood clot or any serious issue like that leading to an aneurysm or something,
Of course not. Which I would suspect that you're probably being a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Hypochondriac.
Well, that might be.
Like you have a symptom and you're assuming it's the absolute worst thing that it could possibly be. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, it's the back of the head. Don't most of those things start to the front of the head, or like towards the middle of the brain, seems like.
Hold on, let me check my wallet.
Your wallet.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, I want to make sure Yep, it's still. I don't have a medical ID card where I'm allowed to practice medicine. So I honestly couldn't tell you. I just wanted to make sure it still wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
But I used to get this pain like right in my side, like right in my ribs when I wake up in the morning every morning, and I finally figured out what was causing it. It was every morning. I swear, I wake up, I have like this sharp pain right in my ribs, and I finally figured out it was from my snoring. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, how could snoring cause pain in your ribs? Well, because in the middle of the night, it would wake up my spouse, and she would elbow me right there.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I was leaning more towards a breathing difficulty problem, but yeah, that would definitely cause pain in the ribs. You're right.
Yeah.
That was good, man. That was good, and that leans more towards what we were talking about last night with spouses. You know.
Yeah, true that. But you know what? It really didn't help with my snoring much. With that pain being there, it just kind of made it worse. So anyway, uh, the best thing I could do is just sleep in a separate bed. It seemed like it went away. That pain in my ribs, anyway.
Well, at least you knew what was causing it, though. It wasn't one of
It
those
it
mysteries.
took me a while to figure it out, though. That's the problem. At first, I thought it was just like some random pain because it was happening while I was sleeping.
Mm, yeah.
But finally, I started complaining about it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you were snoring last night." And I go, "I was," and she was like, "Yeah." So how? So what does that How do you make that correlation that I was snoring? Like, well, I had to help you in the rib to get you to quit, to get you to roll over. She finally just confessed.
Oh, well, I wonder if did that work?
Well, I mean, it worked for her,
Oh, okay.
but not so much for me.
Oh, okay. Well, as long as it worked for her, I mean,
But she was getting her desired results. I me not so much.
Oh, okay. Do you still snore to this day?
Well, I don't have anybody wake elbow me in the ribs, but then again, I don't have anybody to complain that if I am or if I'm not. So I would have to go with the safe bet that I probably do.
Well, I'm going to ask you this though: has it ever been so loud that it's woken you up in your sleep?
No, no, I can't recall that ever happening.
I've had that happen to me before. I've snored so loud that it's actually woke me up in my own sleep. Like I wake up in mid snore, like I'm like, huh? What happened? Who am I? Yeah, it just it literally like it'd be so loud. I think maybe what would happen is be like, you know how they say when you're snoring, like there's certain breathing aspects to the whole thing, and maybe that's our body's way of like maybe getting us to catch a breath if it wakes us up. It's like, whoo, wake up, man, you ain't breathing. Whoo, you know.
Right?
I don't know. But anyway, we do have one watcher here. Whoever they are, they're lurking. So I'm going to recommend while they're watching this to go check out Connie Joe Wood's video. I'll post the link here in 1 second. Let
All
me
right.
go to it. While I'm doing that, why don't you talk amongst yourself?
Well, that never goes well. I end up talking about like the Philadelphia experiment or something crazy like that.
Well, I got some good news though.
All right.
Suso subscribed to the channel.
Well, that's good to know.
That's good news for me, huh? Let's see. I can't seem to. I know I was watching it, so why don't I go to history? Let's see here. My channel. Go to history. See, this is going to be pretty boring. That's why I said, go ahead and talk amongst yourself.
Well, I got something here.
All right.
So, trying to clean my glasses though, they're not cooperating. So just bear with me too. Will you talk amongst yourself while I do that, and then I'll take over?
All right, cool. Well, hello, Hebrew. How's it going today? Well, first of all, my name's not Hebrew. Well, what is your name? My name's Mr. Jeremy. Well, hello, Mr. Jeremy. How are you today?
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, well, you got to go, Mr. Jeremy. Oh, well, thanks for having me on. No problem. So, that was brief, but what did you think?
Yeah, that was great, man. You did a great job.
That Mr. Jeremy guy, I don't know about him though. He's kind of weird.
So if you were going to grow, um, if you were an astronaut and you were going to harvest 3 different crops and try new gardening tech, what 3 crops do you think you might choose?
I think, let's see, what would corn would be one. Um, Tomatoes for sure. And you're doing this in outer space?
Yeah, like on a space station or some type of I mean, you still have an enclosed environment. They're not just sitting out in the middle of outer space. Like you didn't plant them on the moon or something.
Oh, okay. Well, I figured that much. I mean, they would have artificial light, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Um, Corn, tomatoes. Let's see here. What? You know what? It would probably be best to grow stuff that grows above ground. So maybe pepper plants.
All right. Well, those were 3 items that I probably would have thought of as well. But no, 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 no. They don't think of anything practical like that. They went with varieties of a Mizuna mustard, a Waldman's green lettuce, and an Regis red romaine lettuce. They chose 2 kinds of lettuce and a mustard plant.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Nope, and they grew them in the like a veggie plant growth chamber aboard the International Space Station.
Hmm. That's some odd choices, I gotta say.
Yeah, I totally concur. And for the first time, it says the International Space Station project is growing 3 different plants simultaneously in space. And just a few days ago, crew members installed the largest plant growth system on the station. It says they can be psychologically and nutritionally beneficial to the crew members who spend months in microgravity monitoring experiments, making repairs and doing it all far, far away from loved ones. When I read these space articles, I really do feel like I'm reading a children's book, like it's a fairy tale.
Right?
Don't it just sound like it? I mean, and doing it all far, far away. I mean, it really does sound like, see Dick run, see astronaut in space. I mean,
Seems like they should be growing some wacky tobacco out there. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Sounds like they need it to be a little bit more creative. Seems like.
Well, the creative part, I think they got down. It's just the believable part that a little bit more believable would help. I mean, I really believe that the fair princess, has a better odds of being saved in real life than the ISS space station of being real. That's just my personal opinion.
I think that the Mushroom Princess has a better chance of being saved than that.
Right?
Well, and she's not even real, Just saying.
But just for fun, let's venture on. Um, they have harvested their 6th batch of Leafy Life, forms from experimental veg O3D in the vegetable production system. Astronaut Joe Acabia clipped only about half of the greens in a technique called the cut and come again repetitive harvesting, allowing the crew to eat future yields of the same plant. NASA officials said in a statement. Well, right there, you know that it must be true if NASA officials said it, right? And let's see here. Joe Acaba harvested Mizuna mustard, Waldman's green lettuce, and Ut Regius red romaine. This Ut Regius is a new word for me. It must be a normal word, I guess, but it's new for me. But I think of Nutella when I read it for some reason. Let's see. Once they top it with salad dressing sent up by the ground crew at Kennedy Space Center in Florida, of course, NASA officials said in the statement. Okay, so we're sending up salad dressing from from the from the Space Center in Florida, the Kennedy Space Center, so that they can eat a little clipping of lettuce that they got off of their little veggie
You know,
dome.
you know what? They need to harvest some bologna and they need to harvest some cheese somehow, and then maybe harvest some wheat so they could make some bread. You know,
Right?
just saying. You know, maybe make a sandwich. I don't think you're going to get enough lettuce to make yourself a whole Caesar salad up there.
Right? Yeah, without being all the way up in space. But the article goes on and on and on. I'm going to leave it at that. But well, I think the truth or term for articles like that is called it's called space lettuce. Some There's actually shows out there that actually do that on a regular basis. They pick out different space lettuce articles and
Space
kind of like yeah,
kind of reminds me
basic.
of Burger King foot lettuce. Do you know about that? How that saying got started?
No, but I'm intrigued and I'm going to take the bait. So tell me.
There was a guy that was caught. He was videotaped. I guess it was his last day at work or something like that. But he was caught standing in a tub full of lettuce. He was working at Burger King and he was standing on it with his shoes on. And then after he stood in the tub of lettuce, supposedly he stomped around the entire joint with the lettuce shoes on. I I cannot make this stuff up. I'm serious, man. It's like, look it up. I think it's a YouTube video somewhere out there of him doing this. And anytime something is crazy or goes cuckoo or batshit insane, they call it Burger King foot lettuce. They go, well, that's just
Okay.
a bunch of Burger King foot lettuce right there.
I think it's a very similar parable. I think and I can see how that would be true.
It's definitely up there, man. So
I
that's
thought we might do that on occasion, once in a while. I'll bring up a fairy tale about space, and we'll read it and discern the odds of it actually being any truth to it, and have fun with it in general.
we'll call it the space lettuce. The space lettuce.
We'll call it the Burger King foot space lettuce. How's that sound?
There we go. This is our Burger King foot space lettuce portion of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Portion.
So, how are you feeling this morning?
That's what I was trying to say. Segment. We'll call it the Burger King foot space lettuce segment of the show. How about that?
That sounds excellent. Well, you better write that down in case we forget.
I think we can remember that.
What would it come out as an acronym? The BKFSL. BKFSL. Our insiders will know what that means.
True.
Or means.
Oh man, that's crazy. So, how's your morning going so far, sir?
You know, so far is going okay. I wouldn't say it's going great. I wouldn't say it's going bad, but it's somewhere in between.
Amazing. I'll tell you what, man.
I'm awake and I'm fairly healthy, and I'm here with you, so I can't really complain, right?
Well, see, that's the thing is I used to say, well, at least I got my health. I used to say that. Well, now I not only do I not have my health, but at least I could say I got a roof over my head, you know?
Yeah, and you know what? In the greater scheme of things, you are a relatively healthy individual. You're able to get up, walk around, and do things for yourself, right?
Right, right. That's true. Yeah, it could be a lot worse.
Mhm.
I'll tell you, while we're griping on things, though, there's a few things that I could do without, and I'll name those off for you real quick and see if you agree or disagree. Um,
Okay, things. This is a new segment as well. Things that we could do without. What do you
bicy-
think?
Bicyclists who ride right in smack middle of the road while you're trying to drive. How about that?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. And they like to lean to the left when you even think about passing them.
Yeah. Oh
Oh
man.
wait, here's a nice straight area where I could safely pass him as he drifts toward the center of the lane, more towards the center of the road.
Like I got to go around this guy and risk a head-on collision with another vehicle because he wants to stay a little bit more comfortable. Ugh.
Well, now whenever I mean a bicyclist who's obviously top speed is going to be somewhere around 17 to 27 miles per hour. Would that be a safe assumption?
Yeah, about 17, 20 miles an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So your car probably top speed 70, 65, 70 miles per hour, assuming that you're abiding by local safety traffic laws, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what assuming does.
Right. Well, let's just go with that, parent. Let's just go with that, okay?
Okay.
Now, he would have to be able to realize that you probably would like to pass him. And he should make accommodations for you at his earliest convenience so that you can safely pass him. That would be what a real bicyclist should do. If he so chooses to be out there on the middle of the road and sharing it with vehicles that can go 5 times as fast as he can. Would you not agree with that statement?
No, yeah, man. I'll tell you. Yeah, I totally agree. Okay. Here's another one for you. How about those jogger douchebags?
The joggers. Now, what's going on with them? Are they trying to take up the road as well?
They're doing the same exact thing, but opposite.
How
Well,
so?
I can like okay, let's say you're traveling down the road and you get I didn't mean to say douchebags, by the way. That was kind of mean. I'm sorry. But that's just the way I feel about the whole situation. If you're jogging on the road and there's no sidewalks, it's totally understandable you're gonna be on the road. I get that. And hey,
There's no sidewalk available. I have to assume.
more power to you. I totally get that. But if you're driving down the road and you see one of these guys and there's plenty of sidewalk and the sidewalk, let's assume the sidewalk's not covered with shrubbery or there's no like giant holes or craters in the middle of it, why can't they jog on the freaking sidewalk? I
You
just
know, to
I
be
don't
honest
get
with
that.
you, that's the worst place to jog is along the side of the road, especially if there's any moderate to heavy traffic. For one, it's not good for you in the sense that you could get hit by a car. And second, you're going to be breathing excessively hard, and the odds of you getting oxygen, your oxygen carbon monoxide ratio is going to be much higher next to all those exhausts of vehicles traveling by. It's not really the ideal place to jog in the first place. So it's it really doesn't make any sense from any direction that you look at it. And if they are going to be dumb enough to take up the road, I think there should be a law passed that joggers jog at their own risk.
Yeah, there's a George Carlin joke to go with that. Is like, this guy's jogging to extend his life. Not if he's getting near my car, he ain't. He's jogging. He thinks he's jogging to get somewhere. I tell you where you're going, 50 feet in the air, buddy.
That does sound like George Carlin. I don't
It,
know that one, but
it's
it
Michelin on
definitely sounds
Nike. It's Michelin on Nike time. Yeah.
like.
But But no, in all seriousness, though, man, why don't they use the sidewalk if there's one available? I don't get that.
And there's usually plenty of parks, cemeteries. I mean, why would you choose the side of a road that is uh, that in itself makes you question their IQ level in the first place? So I don't know that douchebag was actually such. I think they actually kind of that was an applicable term in that instance.
I guess, yeah, I guess I shouldn't apologize then, huh?
Yeah, you won't catch me jogging on the side of the road.
Yeah. You, you won't catch me jogging at all, period. Unless I got unless there's a bathroom emergency, and then that's a different story. Be jogging from the living room to the bathroom in that case.
Yeah, if there's ever a zombie apocalypse, I'm going to probably be in the first, take it out in the first wave.
Hey, let me ask you something. Have you seen these new Nerf toys that come out? The spitball toys. They require toilet paper use.
They require it. Toilet,
Yeah.
like on the packaging, it says instead of batteries required, it says toilet paper required.
Well, yeah. Well,
Does it recommend a certain brand or a 2-ply or a 3-ply?
I think it's 2-ply, but no, seriously, man. It's like the you have to use toilet paper. You can't
So
use.
like paper towels would be unacceptable. Construction paper totally out of the question.
Oh yeah, well it's on a roll mechanism that and you feed the paper through like a
Oh, like
yeah.
it has like one of those like toilet paper rolling things like you see in modern day bathrooms.
Oh yeah, it's one of
Okay.
those deals. And I guess water goes in one end and the toilet paper goes on the other end. Now, given the fact that it's probably like a fun toy or whatever, isn't that encouraging toilet paper waste?
Well, I mean, is it? It depends on you have to factor in the fun factor. When you're, I mean, it's not really waste if you're having oodles of fun, right?
Well, I don't know. I guess it's kind of like when we were young. We used to like TP
So you
house.
think they should use like use toilet paper so that it hits maximum value?
Oh God, I cannot imagine that would be extra deadly.
Yeah, that would turn a harmless prank into a hepatitis scare.
Right. Oh boy. Oh man. This show's going to down the toilet, isn't it?
If only you had a flushing sound effect right now.
Oh wait a minute, where is it? No, but let's see here. Oh, I got it upside down. What's this button do? How about that?
That's close enough, I guess.
But no, I just I don't know. It just seems like it's a waste of toilet paper to me, unless you can go into like a Walmart or a Dollar Tree or something like that, and maybe take whatever they've got in their bathroom, and you know how sometimes like they have the open toilet paper rolls just kind of sitting up on top there. I mean, maybe if you could somehow get those to use, it just seems like a waste of money to me. I don't know. That's just me talking.
No, no. So apparently the Apple Card has finally arrived. Are you familiar with the Apple Card?
Apple Card.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you have like outstanding credit, It's the
Uh-oh.
first card to use Apple. First card by Apple, not a bank.
Huh?
Yeah, it's a Apple is actually funding the card themselves. It's a Goldman Sachs Mastercard with a 24% APR. Don't let the titanium fool you. They do not care about you, and they will get their money. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Well, now I know it. So if I didn't know it before, I know it now. If I didn't know it then it's known now. Oh, we lost our one and only viewer. Well,
Oh man, I guess I shouldn't have talked about the Apple card. Or maybe they went to go get one.
they got offended by the Apple card. That's what it was. It wasn't
It was definitely not the toilet humor. It couldn't
it
have been that.
wasn't right. It wasn't the potty humor. Let's keep it clean, gentlemen. Keep it clean. Hey, I wonder if you could use baby wipes in that contraction.
I mean, I guess you could.
Well, since we're on a roll, go ahead and tell me more about the Apple card. Do you know any more about it?
No, not really. That was all the information that I actually had. Um,
Did you know on Shifty Sunday, God's Armor brought up they discovered that there's a black hole right in the center of our universe right now, and it's sucking up all the. Maybe that explains why all of our beautiful colored stars are disappearing.
huh.
I.
Hey,
Uh-oh. What happened? Uh-oh, I think the black hole got Sagittarically. Sagittarically speaking, oh no, he's gone. Ah! The black hole got Sagittarically speaking. Oh no. Oh no. Well, until he comes back, I guess I can keep you guys occupied, those who are not even watching. um so anyway, yeah, they discovered this black hole that now apparently exists in our universe that it wasn't there before, and so I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So, but I can honestly wait till he comes back. But I noticed that I was watching some of the Incredible Hulk episodes. Oh, there he is. I'll welcome him back to the room. Welcome back, sir. Are you okay?
yeah, I guess I accidentally closed my browser, and now I'm echoing.
You're echoing off of me.
No, at my end, I'm going to leave and come back.
Okay. I can't get rid of the second one of you. I see his the first one of him is still up here, and I don't know how to get rid of it. So there it goes. Okay, so he had to get rid of that first one. Then when he comes back, it won't echo no more. When he comes back, we'll talk about that black hole that's sucking up everything in space. Nah, we'll pass over that. Well, I should have a banner up here for Thirsty Thursday. As you know, Thirsty Thursday, which is this Thursday, we're going to catch up on the Last Supper, is what I'm reading into, in the Traitorous acts of Judas. As you all know, Judas betrayed Jesus. Of course, he saw all that coming and even predicted it all. But I wanted to talk to Sagittarically speaking about the Incredible Hulk episodes that I've seen. I wanted to make an observation of the phenomenon that was going on back in the 70s and 80s. But I can't discuss that until Sagittarically speaking is returned. And we apparently have one watcher. He came back, he or she. So basically, I was watching the Incredible Hulk, and they were doing a boxing episode, and I couldn't help to notice but during the boxing episode in the Incredible Hulk, there was a lot of extras that were in that episode that were also extras in the movie Rocky, the first movie. And I think one of the extras made a return appearance maybe in the second. No, he was in the second movie. And do any of you out there remember the priest that was in Rocky? I think it was in Rocky 2, and it's just before the fight. He goes up to the priest. And I think the priest makes a return appearance, I think, in Rocky 5. But he goes up to the priest, and he asks the priest for a blessing just before the fight. And so, anyway, yeah, that was the priest. And so the priest made an appearance on the Incredible Hulk. And as I got to watching the boxing episode, I was watching the boxing episode, and I noticed a lot of similarities. If you look in the background, you watch the episode of the Incredible Hulk, and I can't think of the name of the episode, but I think I got it right here. Let me take a look here. Oh, no, it's not on here. Oh, yeah, it is. The Final Round. That's the name of the episode, the Incredible Hulk, the TV series. It's called The Final Round. And if you look in the background when they have the boxing ring, I think it's in one of maybe the championship match that the guy's supposed to fight in. And what's kind of corny is the guy's name is Rocky. He nicknamed himself Rocky. And here's a little unknown fact for you guys. Oh, he's back. Let me pull him back in the room. Hey, there you are. You got an echo now?
No, but I figured it out. I guess I was in there twice. That's, like I heard you saying the first one of me was still there. So
yeah,
I rebooted my phone and I think all is well.
Cool, man. You're coming in kind of low though. I think you need to fix your mic or something.
All right.
Oh, there it is. Perfect.
All right.
Okay, so oh, dang it, we lost him again. Ah. I was right in the middle talking about the Rocky story. Well, you know what? I'm just going to wait for him to pop back in to continue that Rocky story. What the heck happened? I guess he must have pressed the wrong button when he was trying to fix his headphones or whatever. So, are we sure this isn't Friday? Like, we went back to Friday the 13th. Like, maybe the black hole sucked us in backwards and we traveled back into a vortex back in time and sucked us back to Friday the 13th. And that's what's going on. It's not Monday. It's Friday. Oh, here he is. Hey, we lost you again, man.
I don't know what's going on. I'm having issues on my end.
Oh, well, welcome back.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll just keep leaving and coming back, and you can just keep wondering what happened and then welcoming me back. Okay.
That sounds good. No, that sounds terrible, actually. I was just talking to the audience about there was an episode in the Incredible Hulk, and it's called The Final Round, and there was a lot of resemblance for the Incredible Hulk, that episode, and the movie Rocky. Hello?
I'm listening.
Oh, okay. No, and the guy's name in the episode is actually, his name is Rocky in the episode, and who it is John Kreese from the Karate Kid movies, the owner of the Cobra Kai dojo, you know.
Uh-huh.
And he's actually playing a good guy in the show. And anyway, I was telling the audience that there seemed to be a spur of like fighting boxing type episodes in the late 70s, early 80s, because the A-Team also did a fighting episode later on. Well, the A-Team came way later after the Incredible Hulk, but the A-Team did one, and I think Knight Rider did one at the time, and fast forward to the 90s, Quantum Leap did one too, and they were all kind of Rocky type characters. But if you look at the Incredible Hulk and the main match that this Rocky fights, if you look at the background, there's a Mariel of Jesus in the background, and it's the same exact arena that Rocky from the movies. Ah, he's gone again. I think he is going to use that as a shtick. Oh man. Oh brother. Well, I'll just go ahead and tell you guys. There's a Mariel of Jesus in the background. I hope I'm saying that right. A painting. Okay. There's a painting of Jesus in the background. And it's the same exact painting that Rocky. Remember the first fight in the first Rocky movie? It's the first fight in the first Rocky movie where he fights Spider Rico in the church. The not the church, but the gym that's next to the church, or it's in the chaplain or something like. I don't know where it is, but anyway, that's same exact one. So look out for that. Now we have zero watching again. Well, blow me down. Well, hey, you know what? It happens. So we just, when he gets back in here, I'm just going to have him talk the rest of the time because I've been talking to you guys this whole time he's been gone, and he just keeps popping in and out. That I think that will be his shtick. Let me check and see on YouTube here and see what's going on YouTube. I know that there's still one watching, so that's good. That's good that there's one watching. Now let me click back over and see if nope, Sagittariusly Speaking is still gone. Well, while he's gone, I'm going to go ahead and light up a cigarette, and I'm going to talk about what I got in the mail the other day. Or what I gotta say, when you order something from the UK, it takes a really long time for it to get to the United States of America. I've noticed that when you order something from eBay from the UK, do the express shipping. Do yourself a favor and pay the extra few dollars, because if you're an impatient guy like I am, and I know I really shouldn't be that way. I shouldn't be impatient. I should be a patient dude, and I should learn by now that patience is a virtue. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so I ordered this really cool thing, and I'm not going to share it with you guys just yet. I'll probably share it on the next Shifty Sunday broadcast. But I wanted to make a hold on. I got a message here. But I wanted to make an observation. Hey, there you go. There's good old the known doe is in the house tonight. That's awesome. Yeah, it has to go through customs, I guess. That's why it's taken so long. What's weird is it actually said that it came through like it's going through my hometown, and then it rerouted to Indiana. So I don't know. It's like the other day it said, oh man, look at this. I keep getting the message. Let me see what's going on with the messages. But it said it rerouted to Indiana, so now I gotta wait. That's armor. So let me just type in nothing, just doing quick broadcast. Okay, so there we go. So I typed that in. So Sagittariusly Speaking, I guess we lost him for good. We're almost in one hour in this broadcast anyway. Man, it's such a shame that we lost him. He might have gotten a phone call. I know he was waiting on the phone call, so he might have gotten that phone call while he's trying to fix his phone. So I don't know. That could explain one thing. Here, let me light my cigarette real quick. Ah, there we go. Sorry for those of you that don't smoke or don't believe in smoking. Don't don't mean to offend you with my smoking, but here I'll blow the smoke away from the computer screen. But no, seriously though, this item, you guys probably aren't into it, but once I get this item, you'll see why I got it, and then I got it to compare it with another item I got that's actually been Mandela affected. So it should be pretty cool. Um, Let me see what's going on with Sagittarically Speaking real quick. Click that little button there. You know, a lot of times when we do this broadcast, we don't know the technical difficulties that might go on. And so I'm asking, let's see here. So, yeah, I don't know if, you know, I guess he must have gotten the phone call that he was waiting for. So let me click over real quick and see. All right, no, there's no. He didn't pop back in, so that's cool. That's cool, Nondo. But anyway, we're glad to have you on the show with us, and I know you guys missed the intro there at the very beginning, but I did my own little intro with music and soft tone voices seem to be aesthetically pleasing to the ears. But so we don't, here at Monday Coffee Talk, we don't really have too much to talk about. But when we do talk, we do talk about significant changes in the atmosphere. We talk about barometric pressure. We talk about the meldride zones. We talk about just all kinds of things. So, oh, okay, you're getting ready for work, yeah? Well, that's cool, man. Just glad to have you here for as long as we can. You know what I mean? So, what was I talking about? Oh, there seemed to be a huge spur of boxing shows back in the late '70s, early '80s, and even into the '90s. Which I already kind of talked about that a little bit, but you know, just thought that was pretty cool. But it all follows the same formula. You got the underdog who is fighting some big tough guy, and there's always gangsters involved, right? There's always the gangsters, the mob, or whatever. And the Incredible Hulk episode I was watching, um, they were having the guy named Rocky. They were having him deliver cocaine. I think it was cocaine, but in the episode they refer to it as heroin. Um, so I really don't know the difference between cocaine and heroin. And but but anyway, the Hawk, I think, got a little bit of cocaine on his foot or whatever when he stepped on it, because the Rocky character got into a scuffle with a couple of hoods, and the Incredible Hulk, of course, they tossed David Banner around and shoved him in um, a corner and started and proceeded to beat the crap out of him. And then, of course, it angered him, turning him to the Hawk. And while he was doing this, the Rocky character, the Rocky guy, had the delivery bag, and he was delivering it in some medical supply bags. And then as he was doing that, the bags ripped open and got some cocaine or heroin or whatever it was all over the ground. And the Hawk stepped in some, and then he walked away. But anyway, there was the mob guys. They were betting against the Rocky guy, and they had put some stuff in his water. I think they put some kind of heart medicine or something like that because they knew he had an issue with high blood pressure. When you have issues of high blood pressure or whatever, and you start sweating real bad, that could cause some serious issues. That could cause some difficulties. And so anyway, everything turned out good in the end. Spoiler alert. But I didn't want to give a whole lot away. So just, when you get a chance or an opportunity to go back and watch that episode, it's a really good episode of The Incredible Hulk. Also, they put him in a little cage for some reason. There's a little tiny cage, and it's not like a cage that they use for wrestling, because the wrestling cage, you can clearly see it's high above the ring. But for some reason, they had like a little tiny cage, and so they put David Bruce Banner in that little tiny cage. And I don't even know. And I'm watching the episode, and I'm like, where the heck is this cage coming from? I have no idea where the cage is even coming from. It's like they're not using it for the wrestling match because it's too small, and we know it's not the wrestling cage because the wrestling cage is high above the ring, so we know it's not for that purpose. So like, where did that come from? Where did the little cage? What's its purpose? I don't know. Do you know? I most certainly do not know. Oh man, I messed up on that one. So you know, um, that's the way that is. So let me check back here and see if anyone's joined. No, I'm still by myself. Oh boy. But anyway, so the whole thing was a hot mess. And then you got the episode of the A Team. There was 2 episodes of the A Team. I think that one was a boxing episode, and I think they got Mr. T for a ringer of some sort. And he had gone undercover, and I think he had gone undercover in place of some other boxer, and they were trying to teach him to box or whatever. And I think there was another episode, the A Team, where they had Hulk Hogan on the show, and it was Hulk Hogan and Mr. T. And I think this all took place just before WrestleMania, like the very first WrestleMania. And it was Hulk Hogan and Mr. T, and they were wrestling some bad guys. And again, I think the mob was somehow involved with that one. And then going back to Quantum Leap, Sam leaped into a boxer who was living with nuns at the time. And I think the whole show, he was supposed to save the orphanage, or maybe it was so the nuns could so they'd save up enough money to build up a church or something like that. But again, the mob was involved in that one too, as well. So they were bidding on this guy to lose, and he refused to take the dive, and so he made a bet with the mob that made them ultimately making them some money. It was a basketball game or maybe a football game or something like that he had bet on. Of course, he knew the outcome because Sam is from the future, so he gave them that bet to bet on that team, and they won all that money. So he didn't have to take a dive when it came to the boxing match. So that was another boxing episode. That was Quantum Leap, and of course that occurred. And I believe the early 90s is when Quantum Leap was on the air, right? So that was another boxing episode. And well, that's all I've got to say about boxing right now. Really just kind of waiting for Sagittariusly Speaking to jump back in. So anyway, I've got Connie Jo Wood's information up there. Connie Jo Wood tells an excellent story about her near-death experience, and it's really worth checking out if you guys want to get on there and check it out. But please, you could do so after this broadcast, or whenever you want. I mean, you can go there now if you want to, but I would suggest waiting until after the broadcast. But I might end the broadcast here in a few minutes, but I'm waiting on certain people to pop in. I've invited God's Armor to pop in. He might pop in. He might not. Who knows? Sagittarically speaking, I believe might have gotten a phone call. I'm not too sure about that. So we will just hang out here for as long as we can. We'll see if he pops in. And if he doesn't pop in, then we can. I can guarantee you that I could find a subject to talk about. I'm always good at that. So I went to the ear doctor the other day. I've got several appointments. As you all may or may not have heard, I was in the hospital there for a little while. I was there for about 5 days. And during my when I got out, I was hit with several appointments. One of them, of course, being a follow-up. Now, I had an ear appointment several months, way before I was even hospitalized. I had this ear appointment, and so anyway, I'm at the ear doctor, and I had to go twice. And I went the first time I went for the hearing test, and the second time was for them to actually check my ears and tell me what was going on in there. Now, the hearing test showed very, very, very slight hearing loss. So, I do notice that I do have to turn up the TV just a little bit louder. I do notice myself saying "huh" a little bit more, but hey, I'm going on 42 years old. If you're not losing your hearing by the time you're 42, there's something wrong there. So, anyway, so I go back. I had a second appointment. So the first one was just for the hearing test. And then the second one, they actually checked my ear. And the lady there said that I had blockage in there. And what was going on was this sort of blockage was pulling, it was tugging my eardrum sort of the other way and whatever. And she suggested that I pop my ears 9 times a day. She said, pop that ear. She said, what I want you to do is hold your nose and hold the left ear, because it was all coming from the right ear. So she said her suggestion was pop that ear 9 times a day. And so I get back home and I tell my wife this, right? And my wife goes, well, what happens if you pop it 10 times a day? Will your eardrum explode or something? I go, well, I don't know, but I'm not going to take the chance and find out. The other thing was she wanted me to use the Flownex or Flonase. That's what it's called. I don't know why I called it Flownex just now. But I had a prescription for Flonase, and so I haven't picked that up yet. I need to go get that. I don't really like doing the Flonase. I don't like doing anything. I really don't like sucking anything up the good old nostrils there. It seems like, I don't know. Number one, it just feels weird. It feels weird having anything in your nose to begin with. Number two, you suck up the good old fluids in there, and sometimes it gets to the back of your throat, and it's just a disgusting taste, and it just, ugh, I don't like it. And then the second thing is, it just feels so unnatural. You do that, and then you don't know if anything's coming out of that bottle or not. So you got to give it a few test sprays. And if you ever test sprayed that stuff, it's kind of nasty, Of course, it's not no nastier than tasting it, but I mean, it's just, well, let's just say I don't like doing that. I feel very uncomfortable doing that. Plus, number three, first and foremost, you can get addicted to doing that stuff. I had an uncle once, and he was doing that stuff 2 or 3 times a day, every day with the Flonase stuff or some kind of nasal spray, some way or another. He was doing that, And it's like, oh man, just like every time you'd see him, he'd always be spraying the good old stuff right up the nose. It's like, I don't know, but they did say that it would help clear up my ear problem, and it would help get rid of my sinus headaches. I have a lot of sinus headaches. I don't know if I told anybody this before, but those headaches that you get when the weather changes, the pressure that you get right behind the eyeballs. Oh man, I freaking hate that. And I think also, we've talked about this a lot, but ever since the Mandela effect, I've noticed not just me, but a lot of people seem to be complaining about hearing problems or, ringing in the ears or just overall ear trouble in general. And it seems weird to me that, okay, the known doe is good to have you in here with us. And I hope to see you again soon. You have a good day at work, okay? Um, so anyway, where was I? Oh yeah. It seems like a lot of us Mandela affected people seem to be having more and more sinus issues. And I'm wondering if it's the case of, they talk about the body changes and stuff like that. And a lot of you people don't like to hear about the body changes. And it weirds me out too, because it's like, well, now is the heart on the left side? Is it in the middle? Is it in the left middle? This and that and the other. But the ears, if these messages, and let's just say for the sake of argument, that the Mandela effects are encoded messages, especially the Bible Mandela effects. What if the Bible Mandela effects, especially, and all these other messages in between, like the separation of Kit Kat is now one word, Kit Kat, and Kmart's all one word, and it's represents the humans coming together with God and being closer to God. It means we're all going to come closer to God here pretty soon. Um, those hidden messages. What if our ears, and this is just, and our brains actually, our brains, because you think about the headaches and stuff. What if those themselves are being somehow changed or manipulated or in some way formed in a different direction to get us ready for something? Uh, for example, like what if it's making us more in tuned? You see what I'm saying? What if it's making us more in tuned or more sensitive uh, to our climate around us? These are some deep things to really think about when you get into them. You think about it, your sensibilities, like your senses, your just the and then intuitive. I can't talk right now. The intuitiveness in your brains. I mean, think about it. What if headaches are actually caused by our brains growing? I mean, they say that you could actually grow your brain, but what if, like, the brain somehow is actually making these changes and the headaches are our head actually adjusting to these changes as the brain either grows or progresses in some way, and to where we are more in tuned in the nature and we are seeing changes through either the Mandela effect or rather it's change of nature. You know what? My computer's jumping around so much on the TV screen, so I'm going to unplug it. There we go. We'll throw it to the side. And I know it's a stretch. It is a far stretch, but I do wonder about that. And you got. They say that everyone has like a sixth sense, and I a while back you hear people complain about their teeth. Also, you got the teeth changes. You got people the teeth are coming in places they shouldn't come in, and the teeth are going bad. And it seems like the ones of us that are more in tuned with the Mandela effect seem to be having the more medical problems. Also, I've noticed that there's a lot of inflictions there that seem to be in tuned with those that could see the Mandela effect more so than those that can't. Now that might just be a pure coincidence, and I may be just pulling stuff out of my butt and what not have you, but it seems awfully strange to me that you see a lot of these people all of a sudden out of nowhere. And keep in mind this might be natural changes as well. Age might factor into a whole lot of it, but it does seem to me like a lot of people who are having these health issues and having these health problems are more in tune with the Mandela effect than the ones that aren't. And but who knows? That might be just it's just a thought. It's just food for thought. Something for me to think of. Well, we're into 1 hour here, so let me go ahead and give this room a shout out real quick. The known doe was here. There, that was easy. Can't believe there's only one person. The known doe. I think there's one other there. They're watching, but they're probably not chatting because they're either at work or they're driving or what not have you. I don't know, but anyway, so I don't know. I'm starting to get a headache right now, and my head actually feels kind of warm at the moment. But with that being said, let me see what's going on with Shifty Sunday, the Shifty Sunday hangout real quick. Let's see what's. I do not believe that Sagittarically Speaking is coming back. So, and I don't think that God's Armor is going to join me. So I'm here by my lonesome. If anybody wants to jump in and chat, you're more than welcome to. If I have you on my Hangouts, I will invite you in. I'm not going to send the information through chat because that could cause problems. As you all know, there are a lot of people that would like to what they call live stream bomb or computer bomb or whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called, but at any rate, that does happen a lot. I have seen it happen on other people's channels. Not only that, but you could tap into the someone that's really good with computer hacking could tap into the broadcast and take over the broadcast, so to speak. I mean, that has happened. I've seen it happen. I've seen some people take over broadcasts. I've seen a lot of stuff over the years through these live streams. So, and let me take a sip of tea here. Oh man, I did not mean for this to be a one-man show, by the way. Sagittarically Speaking was here. He had to go. I think he's having some technical issues. And I honestly, I think once he skipped out, he probably got that ever so important phone call he was waiting for. So he's probably going to be gone the rest of the day. And let me get on YouTube real quick. Let's see here. Get on YouTube. Let's check out the participant list. I only have one watching. All right. And I know, let's go to live chat. I got it on top chat. Go live chat. There we go. Let's see what I can do from here. Manage moderators, participants. Get the participant list. It just shows me. Go to participants. Oh, is that how that works? Well, that's strange. Very strange indeed. Okay, so we'll get out of here now. But so yeah, I got this thing coming, and once it gets in the mail, it may take who knows, it may take days, it may take weeks. It's coming from the UK. I know it's just a few days away. The estimated time of arrival is September 23rd. And by the way, for those of you who are watching that are aware of the T-shirt contest, we do have a winner. We are working on designs on that T-shirt. And by we, I of course mean God's Armor. Now, we're all working on it, but I've got things set up. We just got to get the design on the T-shirt. Once we got the design on the T-shirt, then we got to get the winner's address and all that good business, and it'll be on its way. So, anyway, let's see. What did I go over? I went over Connie Joe Wood, her new video. Stay tuned tonight for Mandela Monday. That's tonight, later on. Armor Up, of course, has Wednesday Word. That's in the middle of the week. It's Hump Day. Hump Day, Wednesday Word. Wednesday Word with Armor Up. He has an excellent fellowship over there on his channel. And speaking of Armor Up, there he is right there. Let's welcome him to the broadcast. There we are. There's Armor Up. Armor Up, welcome to the broadcast.
Oh, hey, what's happening? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you loud and clear, brother. Hey, it's good to have you on the broadcast. By the way, you missed an excellent intro.
Oh yeah, cool.
I had a little bit of music playing. I looked up what do you call it? Free music. What's it called? When it's free, when you don't have to worry about copyright free music. That's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah. Royalty free.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, royalty free.
Cool. Yeah, I watched Connie's video. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I'll tell you what, man, it kind of worries me now. Start thinking about these headaches I've been having. Is kind of like, should I get checked out? I've been having these headaches in the back of the head here lately. It seems like every time I wake up, but that could just be from neck strain too. The back of your neck could affect your head for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But we were just talking, just as you were entering in, I was telling all these fine folks about Wednesday Word and what a wonderful fellowship you got going on over there, and some of the good stuff that you talk about. Do you have any preview or anything that you'd like to share of what a little hint as to what this week is all about? This week's Wednesday Word.
Well, this week's is longer than normal. Normally I try to keep them an hour. This one's almost an hour and a half. It's all about the power of our tongue, the power of our words, and the Holy Spirit filling us with the tongue of fire to control our tongue. So, yeah, it should be good. I got a sermon by Zach. Then I got a follow-up talk by Dr. Charles Stanley. And, of course, a couple songs to end it out. So, yeah, pretty good one this week. It's uploading now. It's taking a while because it's so big. But, yeah, be about an hour and a half this week.
Awesome, brother. This sounds really good. Now I do remember now that you talked about it, but I don't think you talked about it live. I think we talked about it in private chat. But Sagittariusly speaking, we had him on the program earlier, but he was having some technical issues and had to bounce out.
Oh man, maybe he'll get back. Yeah,
I don't know. It seemed like he had an important phone call he was waiting on. So, we were just talking. I was talking about my ear problems earlier on. I was telling them how it's funny how it seems like, and I could just be talking out of my butt here, but it seems like a lot of us who are infected, who could see the Mandela effect, who could see it happening in front of us, seems like those that are meant to see the messages are seeing them loud and clear. And I was talking about how it seems like either our brains or something to do with the head, like our hearing and our teeth. It seems like a lot of people were experiencing toothaches and ringing in the ears and something like that. And I said there seems to be some kind of collation there with who can see the Mandela effect or who's been affected by it. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. It's possible. There's a lot of people that have headaches and tooth problems. You'd have to sort of take a survey through the community to see how widespread it is. But yeah, I definitely hear about a lot of people having problems. No, I've lost a couple teeth, but then I'm getting old. Who knows? Could just be old age. But I've lost a couple teeth the last year. And as far as earrings, I got diagnosed with that weird disease. Oh man, that was like long before I discovered the Mandela effect. So I've had all kind of wild ear problems, ear ringing, tinnitus, and all that stuff. It's called Meniere's disease, I guess, is what they say it is. Who knows? Doctors just tell you what they think's wrong. They don't know. They just guess.
Yeah, like that George Carlin joke goes, it's all just guesswork and white coats.
Pretty much. They go with statistics. Well, 90% of the people have this if they have these symptoms, so that's what you got. Well, yeah, what if you're one of the 10%? You know what I mean? I don't buy into medical doctors, as you can tell.
Oh no, I know that, man. Hey, look, I know you've talked about that enough times. I'm gonna tell you, man. You know what? I was talking about the ear problems, and I'll tell you a little something funny that I've already shared with everyone else, but you probably didn't hear it. I was talking about went to the ear doctor the other day, and the ear doctor said, "What I want you to do is." I want you, I'm having trouble with the right ear. She said, I want you to pop that ear about 9 times a day. And I went home, told my wife, and I said, she wants me to pop it 9 times a day. My wife said, well, what happens if you pop it 10 times a day? Said, will your head explode or something? I go, I don't know.
How do you pop your ear? What the heck is that?
Well, I mean, you know how you breathe, you hold your nose and, take a breath, pop your ear.
My wife says most doctors say you should never ever do that. I don't know. I don't do doctors. When I got something wrong with the ear, I put some peroxide in it.
It's all connected.
Put a little peroxide in it, let it bubble around, dump it out. Does wonders for your ear.
I don't know, but that ear doctor said, she said, now if that doesn't work, you come back in about 10 days and we'll see about getting a tube in there. And I'm thinking, why the heck don't you just put one in there to begin with, and we'll skip a visit? They want to bill that insurance for one more visit, I guess.
Oh yeah. They like bringing you back, visit after visit. More money.
But I went in there the first time, and I thought they were going to check out my ear, but they gave me a hearing test, and they said that I lost. They said I had a slight, little tiniest bit of hearing loss possible, and I said, well, I'm going on 42 years old. If I don't have something wrong with me, then there's something wrong there. I don't know. Not necessarily.
I flipped a hearing test doctor out back when we were trying to figure out what was going on with me. They gave me a hearing test and I was deaf in the left ear, and left ear is the one that was having problems. Then a few months later, once it seemed to have got better, not because anything they did. Everything they did made it worse. So I quit taking all the crap they were giving me. And eventually, a few months later, it got bearable. And I went back to the ear doctor. They wanted me to go for another hearing test. And man, you should have seen that lady's face. She flipped out. She goes, I've never seen anyone that went from deaf to being able to hear. She said, that's like basically a miracle, impossible. But I can now hear good in my left ear again. And so that flipped out the ear doctor. The hearing test lady, she was flipping. She goes, I never seen nothing like this. How do you go from being deaf to hearing? It just normally don't work, I guess. But I did.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this real quick. When you were going through this time period, did you have somebody praying for you that you get your hearing 100% back?
Now, this was basically before I was getting back on the right path when all this started.
Oh, okay.
I just started getting. Now, I don't think I was back on the right path yet. Probably not. It was a while ago when all this happened. But yeah, so no, there was no. I mean, not that I know of. Sure, maybe there was somebody. Who knows? But no, it wasn't. Not that I know of.
Well, okay.
Other than I always sort of did believe, even when I wasn't in. I mean, that's what I always told him. I don't need you doctors. God got this. I used to say God a lot back then. Didn't know the Father, but yeah, God got this. I don't need you doctors. I mean, I always sort of believed that, even when I was on the wrong path. I sort of knew that whatever was going to be was going to be. It was out of doctor's hands. So I don't know. But praying, no, wasn't really a lot of praying back then. But I sort of always had faith, I guess, would be a way to put it, even though I didn't know what I had faith in.
Yeah. Yeah, I sort of same way. I believed. I had belief in the Father, but I wasn't. I definitely was not on the right path. Hey, there's the things you forgot in the house.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I guess I ought to get over so I can see the chat room. Oh, no. Where the heck is it? Oh, cool. Yeah, the things you forgot. I just watched his channel. A couple of his videos. They are definitely quite interesting. He had a longer one he put out. I guess it was a few years ago. That was very good. And then I checked out a couple of his songs. Pretty awesome. Definitely unique. Keep doing what you're doing. It's definitely interesting.
You know what? I need to get over there and subscribe if I hadn't already. I don't know if I did or not.
Yeah, I just checked him out after he said about it last night. Yeah. He's only got a few videos up there, but definitely looking forward to some more.
There, I just subbed, so I'll be watching his videos later on.
His long one where he's just talking looks like it must be the first one he did, at least the first one that's up there. It's from 3 years ago. I enjoyed it quite well. Good video. A lot to think about for people.
I noticed he was the one that called in last night, one of the ones that called in, right?
Yeah, he was our first caller with a couple good questions about the feminine aspect and stuff like that.
Yeah, I tell you what, I always had, I was always grew up, raised Catholic and stuff like that, and I always had. We were always taught the Trinity, and we were always taught, the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, and that's the way I've always prayed, and I still every once in a while do pray that way. I do the sign of the cross and say the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, and I always had trouble with the Holy Spirit, but we're all looking at it through human eyes. When we talk about the Trinity, not the Holy Spirit, I always had trouble with the Trinity. Well, when you're looking through it with human eyes, you can't figure how one man, or how one, not man, but how one being could be all three things all at once. And it's kind of mind-boggling until you really think about it, and you really see it through a different set of eyes. And when you get out of those teachings, like I'm coming out of the teachings of the Catholic Church and trying to kind of get away from it, and but there's still a huge part of it still there, and I still do believe some of the stuff that they have indoctrinated me with, but and some of it does make sense. But I think for the most part, they don't glorify the Father as much as they should, and I mentioned that in my Thirsty Thursday video, I do believe. But there's still a lot of prayers out there that they do glorify the Father. And but like I said, there's a lot of things, like I don't believe in the Holy Mother. I don't think she should be glorified. I don't think we should even refer to her as the Holy Mother. But so what are your I know you mentioned a little bit of it last night, but what are your thoughts on the Trinity?
Well, I agree with you. First of all, yeah, they're a holy mother. To say any human being was holy is sort of blasphemous in itself. I mean, Mary was just another human being. Yes, she was picked, she was special, but she still was human. She can't possibly be holy. There is none holy, no, not one, I believe is what Jesus said. So I tend to believe what he says over what an organization says. So yeah, to call any human a holy mother or holy father, or holy whatever, is pure blasphemous, because we can't be holy. We're rotten, basically. And when I started wondering about the Trinity and praying over it, researching it, thinking about it, whatever you want to say, when I started asking the Father about it a while back, it's been years, trying to remember exactly how he explained it to me. He said basically it's like us. We're supposed to love the Father with all our mind, our body, and our soul. And he said the Trinity is basically like each of us as humans. We all have a mind, we all have a body, and we all have a soul. We all have our thoughts, we all have our actions, and we all have our emotions. Mind, body, soul. Thoughts, actions, emotions. That's the way the Father was giving it to me, basically. I can't say saying, you know what I mean? That's basically what I was getting showed. And it's the same way. Father is basically like the mind. Father is the thoughts. Father thinks everything. Father's the one that thinks. And spirit is more like the action. Father said, let there be light. Spirit moved upon the darkness and created light. And Jesus was more like the emotions. Jesus came to show us the Father's love, the Father's mercy, the Father's grace, the things like that the Father did. I mean, this ain't a perfect analogy. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. This is just how the Father helped me to understand it. It may make no sense at all to anybody else. So I came to understand that they're like, just like we are three things, our thoughts don't always line up with our actions, and our emotions don't always line up with our thoughts. And however, with them, they're always in line. Whatever the Father thinks, the Spirit does, Jesus teaches. I mean, they're all in unity, perfect unity. Unlike us, who our thoughts sometimes run rampant and our bodies do things we don't want to do and our emotions run away. And so basically, that's how Father explained the Trinity to me when I was trying to figure it out. He said, it's sort of like everyone's a Trinity. We're all a Trinity. We're all mind, body, and spirit. We're all thoughts, emotions, and actions. And that's sort of the way that I came to understand a rough version of what the Trinity is. That make any sense? Made sense to me. But Father's a personal type guy.
That actually
makes sense.
That actually makes a lot of sense. The way you're putting it, I can relate. I can understand it a lot better than what I've ever understood it, because now you're making sense because we do have three parts to us. We got mind, body, and spirit, like you said. And when you think of it that way, uh, why wouldn't the Father have three parts? Why wouldn't he be
We're
Father,
made in his image after all.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, mind, body, spirit. That lines up. That's yeah. That you said it wasn't a good analogy, but I think it's a perfect analogy. To be honest with you, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we sort of know where these three parts because Jesus constantly reminds us, love the Father with all your heart, mind, and spirit. Heart, mind, we're constantly reminded that there's three things in us that we're supposed to honor the Father with at all times. It ain't just honor the Father with your words or honor the Father with your thoughts or honor the Father with your actions. No, love him with all of that, with your heart, mind, and spirit. It's said different ways at different times, but there's always three, just like the Trinity. We are a Trinity, every one of us. A much smaller scale. I'm not saying we're all God. Don't start just construing everything, all my haters out there, and saying he says we're all Trinity. But no, we all have a mind, body, soul, and so does our Father. He has like I said, I ain't saying anymore. I already said everything I need to say. It makes sense. I'm just going to ruin it if I keep talking. But that's how he explained it to me after a lot of study and sitting one day. And then he just laid it out. He said, look, he had me read the verse where it says about love the Father with all your heart, mind, and soul. And then he said, no, that's a Trinity. And I got it. The rest of it just basically are me trying to put into words what he was showing me, which ain't always easy to do. But yeah, that's basically what the Trinity is to me. I know it's real. I know they're all separate. It's not a piece of God. The piece of the Father came to earth, like a lot of them try to teach. No, the Father didn't come to earth. The Son came to earth. It's a whole different entity, person, whatever word you want to use. It is not a piece of the Father. No, the Son is his whole own being, just like the Spirit is its whole own being. But they are all what we call God. That's why I don't even like the term God, because it's confusing to begin with. We don't worship God, Jesus pointed us to the Father. The Spirit points us to Jesus. Everything points to the Father. The Father is the main one. Jesus and the Spirit are just parts of him, but they're not him. That's where a lot of people get confused. They're not him.
Well, I'll tell you where the confusion comes in for me, or it used to, is where Jesus, in the Bible, it says Jesus was here on earth, and while he was here on earth, supposedly that was God, or I'm sorry, the Father that was actually here in human form, but actually it was the Son of the Father who was here in human form.
And that's what messed it up, because that's what they say. His whole name, they were told to name him Emmanuel, which is God with us. And that's where the whole problem lies, this term God. Why do they constantly want to worship a God like everybody else? God with us. Yes, God was with us, because those three are what we call God. You see what I'm saying? And this is where everything gets so confused. Because if you want to tell me Jesus is God, I can happily agree with you. Sure, Jesus is what we call God. But Jesus is not the Father. There's the difference. Therein lies the rub. There's where everybody goes wrong. All because of the stupid term God with a capital G. Like, that makes it so much better. Oh, we'll capitalize it. That's good. That honors him. Come on, people. The Father is not a God. He created gods. He created everything else. All these things people's worshipped over the years that they call little g gods. I've said it many times. You might as well call Father the greatest pony ever, because it's just something else he made. To capitalize the P in pony, and that's what he is. Come on, get real. They're not gods, but that's a term we use, so it's a term we're stuck with. So when you're trying to tell people The minute I say Jesus ain't the Father, they're like, oh, well, but Jesus is God. Well, yeah, Jesus is what you want to use the term God for. Sure, I'll agree with you. If you want to belittle him to that status, sure, you can call him that. I'm not calling him that, but you can. You know what I mean? We got to get off of this stupid term. This term is what's messed everything up. It's got all the confusion about the Trinity, about, yeah, Jesus is God, Father is God, Spirit is God, but they're not the same. They're not at all the same. They are all distinct individuals, all three working for us, helping us, saving us. It's a great plan between the three of them to redeem our stupidity from the enemy. It couldn't have been done without any of them. They all agreed. Father said, what are we going to do? Jesus said, I can go down. Father says, all right. Spirit says, well, after you get down and you come back, then I'll be able to get down and I'll help them. They were all in agreement. It couldn't have been done without anyone. They all knew they were all going to do their part. They're all one mind. They're all the same. I can't explain it. It gets way too deep, but yeah. So yeah, Jesus is God in a very loose definition of the term. I don't like the term. Jesus is God, but Jesus is not Father. No, not at all. No way.
What there's two things that I'd like to have cleared up. Also, is like when you read the Bible and you read the part when Jesus is resurrected, or maybe it's before he was resurrected. They talk about, Jesus sits on the left hand. He's the left hand of the Father. And but there's another one that says Jesus ascended into heaven, is seated on the right hand of the Father. Am I saying that? The right hand of the Father. But then there was another one that said Jesus ascended into heaven and became one with the Father. And that confuses me too, because, okay, so like, which one is it? Is he seated at the right hand of the Father and he's part of the whole Trinity now, or did he become one with the Father and is now part of the Father? That's the part that also used to confuse me, and it still kind of does. So maybe since I've got you on here, maybe you can clear that up a little bit too.
Well, I don't know what verse you're talking about that says Jesus went to heaven and became the Father. I have never seen that verse. I know there's verse that says Jesus has risen and sat at the right hand of the Father. But yeah, I don't know one that says he went up and became the Father. I've never seen a verse like that. But yeah, and that's what I mean. It's right back to the same confusion. Because we tend to think of God, this word God, as a being, but it isn't. It's a word. It means nothing. It's the Father is not a God. Jesus is not a God. Although that's the terms we were given. That's the terms we use. Like I said, immediately, just from his name alone, when they said to name him Emmanuel, God with us, that was to reach out to these people who needed a God, whose only concept of the Father was a God. So you have to use the term, but I don't know. Like I said, it's the Spirit got to explain it to you. It's very simple, but it's very confusing because of the terms we've been stuck with and indoctrinated with in the way we've been taught. Father is in heaven. Jesus is seated at his right hand. The Spirit's also up there and also with us, because it's everywhere at once, just like the Father and the Son. But they're separate, yet they're all what we call God. That's the problem. They are all our idea of God, our concept of what this God is them. Although they're not, they wouldn't call themselves God. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like I said, it's hard to explain. So yeah, Jesus is in heaven with the Father, and he is one. That's another thing that's confusing, because even Jesus said we are one. He prayed that we would be one, just like they're one. So now, if you think about this, if we're going to say Jesus is the Father, 100% the same thing, the same being, okay? We know they're 100% the same. They're exactly alike. But my point is they're not the same being. But if we want to say they're the same being, if a little piece of the Father became the Son, well, then we've got a big problem when it comes to Jesus's prayer for us, the one he gave before he left. Whereas I pray, Father, that just as we are one, they will become one with us. So now are you telling me that Jesus said we're supposed to become God? You see what I'm saying? Because that's what that says. Just as I am one with you and you are one with me, they will be one with us. That's his prayer, that we someday get to that point, that we are one. That don't mean we're going to be God. That just means that we're going to be one, just like they're one. There's a big difference there in what he's saying. If he's saying what we believe, or what normal Christians believe, that Jesus is God, well then, how are you going to get on a new ager now that says you need to become your inner God? Because that's exactly what your Bible says, if that's the way you're interpreting what Jesus said. Because Jesus prays for us to be one, just like him, all of us to be one with the Father. That don't mean we become the Father. That just means we are one with the Father, just like he is one with the Father. But he is not the Father. He is the Son. He is Emmanuel. He's not the Father. The Spirit is not the Father, but it is one, just like we are supposed to be one. So that's a little easier way to explain it. I mean, if we're going to really be dogmatic and say Jesus is the Father, well, then you explain to me what his final prayer means. Why is he telling us to become God then? Because that's exactly what he's doing, if that's the way you're going to interpret it. Become one as I am one. Become God as I am God. That's basically what they're saying he's saying, if they're saying Jesus is the Father. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, dude. I mean, now that you put it that way, but again, on Thursday, I had mentioned, said, I really don't feel comfortable anymore saying the word God. And not really necessarily because of what you just went through, what you just told me, but it seems like in the Bible, God is always referred to as the Father. So why are we constantly calling the Father God when God is the Father? He's our Father in heaven. And even in the prayers, whenever we start any single prayer, we start it with Father in heaven, hear my prayer, or the Our Father, Our Father who art thou in heaven. So I said to my audience, I said, you know what, from now on, and it's going to be a hard thing to do because I've been indoctrinated with just calling him God all these years, and well, not just all these years, but all my life. Been calling him God all this time. I said, you know what, I don't somehow not right now. I don't feel comfortable with that anymore, and so I'm going to try from now on just to call him Father, because that just makes more sense to me, and it feels more natural. It feels more natural than it did. And I used to say it, a couple months back, I was saying it because I was kind of just mimicking you, because you said it, and it wasn't right back then for me to do that. And so I went back to saying God, but now that I'm saying God, it doesn't seem right to me. It feels natural, but it doesn't feel natural. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I said, and like I told you before when we privately talked about that, I was like, the Father don't care if you call him God. He understands that we've been indoctrinated. He's not up there nitpicking over that kind of stuff like people think. I mean, it drives me insane what people think. So if you want to call God, the Father God, it's cool. You ain't going to offend me. You ain't going to offend him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for me personally, and this is what I told you when we had our private talk, and like you're starting to see now, your spirit's eventually going to get to the point where it knows its Father. It don't want to call it God. It wants to call it Father. It just, like you said, it starts not settling with yourself saying the word God. Sooner or later, you realize he is your Father. It's exactly what Jesus told us. And Jesus is the only one, by the way, in the Bible that called him Father. Everyone else that talks about God in the Bible calls him God.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, God don't care if you call him God or Jehovah or Yahweh or Father, whatever. He don't care. That ain't the way they operate. There is no ego in the Father. He don't care. Just call him. That's all he cares about. You call him, he'll know you're the one that you're talking about. He'll know it's him. It don't matter. That's why I don't get hung up on the Jesus or Yeshua or, I prefer Emmanuel. That sounds like a name the Father would give one of his sons. He sort of likes them kind of names. Samael, Michael, Uriel, Raphael, Emmanuel. Sort of rings truer to something like the Father would name his children. So I prefer Emmanuel because it's an L, just like all his other sons that we know the names of. Michael, again, Raphael, Uriel. Father seems to like L. I don't know. Don't ask me why. But I noticed that a long time ago. And that's why Emmanuel rings truer to me as to what Jesus was supposed to be called. That would be his name before he got here, in my opinion. He was Emmanuel. And he became Emmanuel. But he always was Emmanuel. See what I'm saying? Just like Raphael was always Raphael. And Michael was always Michael. And Uriel is always Uriel. I believe Emmanuel was always Emmanuel. We've just come to know him as Jesus. Why they wanted to change his name to Jesus, I don't know. Why didn't Mary listen to the angel that said to name him Emmanuel? I don't know. No one ever asks these questions. They say, oh, well, Emmanuel was just a trait. That wasn't really his name. That was, the angel was saying he'll be called that because he is going to be God with us. No, the angel said to name him Emmanuel. I think he meant it. You know what I mean? Why they didn't listen, I don't know. Maybe they did listen. Maybe the whole Jesus in our book is a lie. Maybe it always was Emmanuel when he was walking around. We have no way of knowing. All we got is the record that man wants to give us.
True.
But like I said, Father doesn't care if you call him God, and Emmanuel doesn't care if you call him Jesus or Yahshua or Yahushua or whatever other weird friggin' names you people want to get stuck on because you think a name matters to a being like them. He don't care. Just talk to him. He'll know if it's you talking to him. He'll know if you've been indoctrinated with Jesus, then he'll know that Jesus is him. He'll know that Yeshua is him. But the minute you start saying, oh, well, you can't say Jesus, you need to say Yeshua, now you've got a problem because now you're telling people what to do and you're wrong because you don't need to say anything. You call him what he tells you to call him. He'll give you a name. You want a name? You go ask him what his name is. Yeah. He'll tell you. And that's just like the argument I got in the chat the other day. I forget who it was, and I don't want to call him out anyhow. I remember who it was, but I'm not going to call him out. They kept saying about, what the heck was it? Something about, it had something to do with names. I don't even remember now. But the whole point of the chat was, they're so stuck on this dogmatic thing. Jesus said it was all right if you blasphemed against him. In other words, it's all right if you don't use the right name. It's all right if you say the wrong thing against him, but do not blaspheme the Holy Spirit. He warned us of that. So when you get stuck on a name, you're already lost. If you think a name matters, you're already lost.
Thirsty Thursday. I'm trying to think. I think I've seen that chat. I think I know what chat you're talking about. And I too will not dispel any names or anything, but I think I know what chat you're talking about because I saw the argument back and forth. I don't think it was any of mine. I think it was on either yours or Dan's, but I can't remember which.
Yeah, I don't remember. And it was the whole they're stuck in this dogma. They're stuck in It's just like this Torah keeping thing. I mean, so we could get off on all kind of little rabbit holes, but and things you forgot said, is that a Bible change? I thought his name was Emmanuel, but it got changed somehow to Jesus. Well, yeah, it's still in the Bible. The angel comes and says, "You shall call him Emmanuel."
Hmm.
And it always bugged me. Always. I was like, well, why didn't they? Why? How did we get Jesus? Why didn't they call him Emmanuel? Just like the angel said. I don't know. I prefer to call him Emmanuel. Actually, I just call him brother. I don't even really use names. It's
No.
Father, brother, Spirit. They're, like I said, names are just silly. Oh, that's what it was. He was saying about how that's now I remember the conversation. He was saying, well, then how do we? He asked me what the Father's name was. And I
Hmm.
said, because it says in the Lord's, we was talking about the Lord's Prayer. The show was talking about the Lord's Prayer. And he said, well, then how do you honor the Father? How do you hallow
Oh,
his name if you don't know what it is? Because I said, I don't know the Father's name. And they're like, what do you
yeah.
mean? I'm like, I don't care about the Father's name. Why do they said, well, then how do you hallow it? I said, I hallow it indeed. They don't understand. If I tried to tell you the Father's name, you wouldn't believe me. So why would I even bother? I know what the Father's name is. I absolutely 100% know Father's name. Guaranteed. Because Jesus told us Father's name over and over and over in that book. Yet no one sees it. Nobody. Nobody sees his name. Because they're too busy looking for a name. But Jesus told us his name. In fact, Jesus told us before he left, I have came to declare your name and have declared it. So Jesus told us, he told us the Father's name. He told us that. He said, I came to declare it, and I have done so. I have told them your name. I have made your name known. Yet nobody knows his name because they're looking for a name. I know his name. And I hallow his name big time. I love the Father. But his name's right there. Jesus told us his name many, many, many times. Almost every time he spoke about him, he used his name. But we don't understand the name because we've turned the name into a concept and not a name. So we don't get the fact that that's a name because it ain't a name to us. It's a word. But no, it's his name. And it needs to be hallowed. And we don't hallow it at all. We use it all over the place. We use it like a word.
Mm-hmm.
But his name's right there. Jesus told us his name many times. Yet nobody sees it. Nobody wants to look. They want to argue about his name when his name's right there. That's why I don't even get into the arguments about a name. And that's why I won't even tell him his name. Because you don't need to. You want to know his name? Go look. It's right there. Be a good Berean and search it out. Let the Spirit show you his name. Because if I tell you his name, you're going to think I'm crazy anyhow. So I ain't even going to bother telling people his name. But his name's right there. I use it all the time. Just like Jesus did. I use Father's name all the time. And so did Jesus. Yet people don't even realize we're saying a name. They think we're using a word. But I know his name.
There you go.
I love his name. And the Spirit will get you to use his name when it's time for you to use his name. Till then, keep saying God. It don't matter. It don't matter.
That's all that counts. And it's not like when I would be praying or something, I would say, I pray in the name of Zeus, or I pray in the name of Sheba. You know, I didn't do anything like that. I would say God, you know, so it's a pretty broad term. But now that I've been reading the Bible and I've been studying these terms and these words and stuff, I just feel that it's better to say Father, because the God, or the Father in heaven, is everyone's father. It's like we are all his sons and daughters. So why wouldn't we call him Father? You know what I mean? You know what where I'm getting at with that?
Yep.
He's our Father in heaven. So that's why I'd say. Now, I never told anyone on my Thirsty Thursday, or at least I don't think I did. I didn't say, now you guys should be saying, now I might have said, I don't know exactly how I phrased it, but I think I pointed out, I said, now I'm not telling you guys that you should be saying it. You could say whatever you want, but I'm going to, from now on, try to say the word Father. And I think I did encourage it. I said, now, if you want to, you should maybe just try it. Just give it a try and see what feels more natural to you. That I think that's how I phrased it, but I could be wrong.
Yep. And see, none of that matters to me. You call them whatever you want. Because the minute I tell you to do something, then I've created a doctrine. And Jesus didn't create any doctrines. I ain't.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to do that. Not purposely anyway. I might have, I don't know, had some kind of, when I talked about it, did some kind of influencing or something along the lines, but I didn't try to. But anyhow, I'm going to try to I'm going to try to use the name Father from now on instead of referring to as God. I'm not going to say Father bless you when someone sneezes, because a lot of people, if you say that, they'll look at you like you got a third eye in the middle of your head or something. But I'm definitely gonna, whenever I do a prayer. Well, I do that when I do a prayer anyway. I say it in the name of the Father. Uh oh. We lost God's armor. There he is. Let me pull him back in.
You see that, brother? That was the wildest thing I ever seen. I have no clue what just happened. My StreamYard just shut down. I mean, I got super high-speed internet. I never have problems. Yeah, there should be a little clue. I don't like it when you start talking about the Father's name.
Wow.
Flip some out. That was pretty wild. I ain't never had nothing like that happen. That's crazy. That's cool.
The enemy, huh?
Yeah, who knows? I hate to say that because we're on the internet and stuff glitches, but it is pretty funny that I was just talking about the Father and his real name, and boom, all of a sudden I'm gone.
Yeah.
I usually never draw.
But anyway, how did it go from talking about ear ringing to all this?
Yeah, really. Yeah, I don't know how we got off on that. Oh, you asking me about the Trinity, and then it started. Yeah. I told you, don't get me started. You know me. I'll go. Spirit will go. Don't ask a question, you might get an answer. You might not like it.
Hey, amen to that, man. It's true, man. I tell you what. Once the spirit gets going, he don't want to let up, does he? Or her? He or her? We talked about that last night. Is it a her?
Yep, and again, that's as silly as putting a name on it. It ain't the way it works. Him, her don't matter. Name don't matter. That's all worldly things. Those all mean nothing.
Speaking of worldly things, I got to daydreaming the other day, and I was wondering. I was like, after I read that passage about my father, Bill, has many mansions in his house, or he has many houses in his mansion, or something like that. In heaven, there are many mansions, and I build a house for you in heaven. Or not a house, but I build you up a place in heaven. And it got me to thinking about like worldly stuff. Like, do you think that maybe there's worldly stuff that goes on in heaven as it is here on earth, or is he talking about, not necessarily talking about heaven, but the second earth that's to come after the second coming? What do you think about all that?
You broke up on that. All
Oh,
I heard was, "Do you think there's worldly stuff?" And then it broke up. I didn't hear any of the rest.
oh, well, let me repeat myself then. They talk about, mansions, building up mansions in heaven and stuff like that. And it just got me to thinking, am I still breaking up?
Now you're good at the moment.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, it got me to thinking. It's like they talk about having paved roads and mansions, houses and stuff like that that's in heaven. Do you think that maybe are they talking about a literal heaven, or do you think the Bible might be talking about the after coming, like the new earth that's in the that comes after the 1,000 year reign?
As soon as you said, "Do I think that it broke up again?" Never heard the question. You're like, "Do I think that they?" And
Uh
it's
oh, you bro- you're breaking up too, man.
it must be my end. Who knows
You're
what's going
breaking
on?
up. I think that's a cue. We need to end the show.
Or like a,
Okay, can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you.
I I guess we need to probably end the broadcast then, since we're breaking up so badly.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Everything seems strong on my end. Like I said, I got super high speed internet, so there's no reason I should be breaking up. Of course, I do have my video uploading, but I multitask all the time. That shouldn't be hurting anything.
Seems like every time I ask the question about heaven is when I get broken up into pieces.
I upload video
But for the move, uh-oh.
and times and hearing now. Still there?
Yeah, you roboted a little bit, man.
Yeah, strange. I don't know. Guess we pissed off the powers that could be. Oh well, they'll get over it.
Right?
Got their panties in a bunch, it seems.
I like that. What was that one thing you said the other night? Panties in a bunch. The panties in a bunch gang. How'd that go?
Yeah, they got their panties in a bunch.
But man, no, I was talking about the difference between like maybe a literal heaven, because they talk about possessions and they talk
Yeah, and
about like
things you
not.
forgot said.
Oh, well, I'm going to go ahead and do a shout out, and then I guess we'll go ahead and shut her down.
He says he can hear us now. He may pass, but yeah, we can shut it down if you want. It don't matter.
But
Strange. Many you start talking about a little too much. We didn't even get anywhere. We didn't even get deep. See, that's how you guys need to go, man. You got to go study that word, because there's a lot of truth in there. A lot of truth that they don't want you to know.
sounds like it. I mean, I know it, but anyway,
Try to see one it out there.
can you hear me?
Yeah, about half. Yep, at the moment.
Crud. All right. Let's see here. We had the known doe was here.
The known doe. You mean taekwondo?
Oops. Yeah, that's what I meant. Taekwondo was here earlier. I knew I was going to botch that up because I don't know. Things you forgot, and I think there was two more lurking. But hey, if you're not going to speak up now, then forever hold your peace. I think that's it, man. I think that got it. Short call out.
That's all right. It'll get to whoever it's supposed to get to. Never doubt that.
True that, brother. Well, I'd like to thank Armor Up for being on the show for a short while. I'd like to thank Sagittarically Speaking, who unfortunately dropped off the face of the earth. Hopefully he's all right, but I'm sure he is. And
The face.
I'd like to say to everyone, please catch Wednesday Word with Armor Up this Wednesday. And maybe we'll do another show on Monday, but we'll definitely do Shifty Sunday. So we'll see you all then. Thanks for joining us. And Armor Up, you got any last words?
Nope, just Father's love and blessings all. Seek the truth. Don't believe what man's telling you. Don't worry about a name, or don't let your mind wander too far on trying to figure out the Trinity, because it's way beyond our understanding. But just know that there's a Father, a Son, and a Spirit that are fighting for us, and their whole mission is to save us. One mind, one thought, one idea: to save us, love us, and forgive us. That's their purpose, all three of them. We don't just have one fighting for us like they want you to believe. We got three big dogs fighting in our corner. So, but yeah, search out the truth yourself. You want to know the Father's name? Go look at what Jesus called him. 99% of the time when he's talking, he used his name, but we don't see it. We think it's a word. It ain't. It's a name. So, and also, yeah, tune in Wednesday. I think it's a very important message for all of us about the power of our tongue and the power of our words. They're very powerful. So tune in Wednesday and learn a little bit about it.
Awesome, brother. Sounds good. I'll definitely be over there checking it out. Might be a little bit late, but better late than never, like they always say. And everyone, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Thanks for watching. And gotta hit that end broadcast button now.